Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Podcast, the only sneaker podcast that was awarded bronze at the Olympic, but then unawarded bronze at the Olympics. And now it's a whole thing because we're back in the States now. I don't know. We got a picture off for the gram, so it's good. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Hannah Young. The only podcast that introed into the Olympics and then got it outroed.
That's right. We were there for both.
Did too much of a damage. They had to pull it for the 2028.
There's a shot of Tanner somewhere between Snoop Dogg and Flava Flav on the podium out there.
There you go.
You could find it. You could find it.
Yeah.
It's not AI.
Paris is trying to scrub it. They heard.
They don't want it out there.
What I was like, yeah.
They don't want it out there.
They're trying to scrub it. They're trying to scrub it.
Yeah.
Don't let them.
Well, boy, we are here tonight with a very exciting episode. We are celebrating the 10-year, count them, 10-year anniversary of the Rukus and Nike SB Crawfish Dunk. We got a real treat for y'all tonight. We were able to get 3 of the guys who were there on the ground at the time it happened, including Hunter, who designed the shoe. We got to sit down, have a conversation with them, and talk about, you know, what it was like leading up to the release day itself, and kind of the legacy of the shoe since. So y'all are in for a very special treat of a conversation. We just kind of wanted to put bookends at the front and back of that episode to give y'all some context on it. I had a blast.
Absolutely. Oh, it was great. Mm-hmm. It was great. It was fun to look back on this to get more of like those like behind the scenes, kind of like stories and everything that led up to it, and a hilarious moment that I had no idea had happened, which is great that that's kind of where the episode ends on.
Yeah.
That was one of the things where I think all 5 of us were just like almost in tears. It was just funny to think back on.
I was just about to allude to it. I pride myself on being somewhat of an internet sleuth about my Louisiana sneakers and trying to dig up as much as I can. But understandably, 2014, a lot of what happened at this time kind of predates sneaker internet. So there are some stories in this episode that have not been told anywhere online as far as I can tell. So if you love this shoe and feel like you know everything about it, there's probably some treats in here for you. At least there were for me and for us.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was hilarious. Like I said, just hearing those very fine details that I guess like they're not like headline stuff, but when you're talking to the people who were there with Hunter, Jay, Club, like everybody, it was just great. It was awesome.
Yeah. So that being said, we'll launch into the episode now. Two little housekeeping rules we got to hit y'all with before we go in there. One, it's a very visuals heavy episode, and we got some. I don't want to say archival because that feels a little, pretentious, but we got some footage from around the time, which at this point in the internet feels archival. So there's some good clips there from back in the gap if you want to see those, and some points where we're reacting, not talking so much. So if you can watch it on YouTube at Shoe Podcast or over on Spotify, it's worth doing so. And while you're there, go ahead, hit that subscribe and that follow button if you haven't already.
We're close.
Drop a little comment. Number 2, because it's 5 of us all on internet connections taking a call, there are admittedly moments where people cut in, cut out. You got kids running in the room. That's life, people. That's raw and uncut. We said it at the top of the call with everyone there. What we're doing is not more important than anyone's family. So if your kid runs in the room, if your significant other needs you, go ahead and answer that. So there's some cuts here and there, but it was just a good, it was very organic conversation, I would say.
I loved it. It was like you said, just 5 of us hanging out. And I think that's why all those really cool stories started popping up. Like I said, the last story where we ended on, I thought was just hilarious.
Yeah. So all that being said, enough rambling. We'll launch into the episode now. Hope y'all enjoy. We'll catch y'all at the end. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Shoe Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Hannah Young.
Tonight, we are back for a very special episode. We are joined by some legends here to celebrate with us the 10-year anniversary, can you believe it, of the Crawfish Dunk. We got Jaylin, we got Hunter, and we got Club. Guys, can y'all go ahead and introduce yourself? Quick introduction, maybe what's your tie or your association to the Crawfish Dunk? Jay, you want to go first?
Yeah, my name is Jay. Whenever the Crawfish Dunk came out, I just started working at the shop. So definitely glad to be here and doing this interview almost 10 years later.
Yo, what's up? I'm Hunter. I guess you could call me the creative director of the entire project.
I'm Club, and just kind of was I was lucky enough to be a part of probably one of the coolest little eras of Rukus, and kind of it was cool to get to kind of work alongside these two. So I was just kind of I guess more of a workhorse behind the scenes, if you'd call it.
You were also like helping run the shop at the time. You were like a key player in the game.
Definitely.
Jaylin was just coming up, like he said. I'd only been there like 2 or 3 years. Hopefully that helps like set the scene a little bit.
Perfect.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like we were saying before we hit record, really appreciate all three of y'all being on tonight. For y'all that don't know, we're a podcast based out of Louisiana, so we're obviously biased, but admittedly biased towards Louisiana sneakers, and the Crawfish Dunk has got to be hands down one of the best out there. So it's crazy to think 10 years later, you know, just the staying power that shoe has just all over. You still see it all the time, not just in Louisiana, but like, I don't know if any of y'all watch Complex. They do that sneaker shopping show, and you can see a lot of the times when they're at stores in New York or LA and they have the wall of sneakers, you'll see the Crawfish Dunk on the wall behind it. So it's still just got that prominence and relevance all these years later. It's really crazy to think.
It's pretty wild considering that my first memory of this shoe was Hunter just showing up to the shop one day with he drew it on a piece of paper, and that picture hung on the wall in your little closet of an office. Remember that, Hunter?
Yeah, I converted the closet.
That's the biggest like memory that I have was that first like rough draft that Hunter drew, and it stayed taped to the wall forever.
No, it's still up to this day.
Yeah. See?
Wow. That's crazy. Hunter, can you take us back then? What came first, I guess, kind of the idea to do a Crawfish shoe or the opportunity from Nike SB to do a shoe, and then you decided on Crawfish?
Awesome question. So it was definitely the idea to do a Crawfish themed shoe, but that wasn't even originally like my idea. Like I can't claim that by any means. That was actually like, we kind of had the chance of the opportunity. You know, we knew we could make this happen if we came correct, like with the right idea. So I started maybe like talking to some of the creative people around me, and one of them was Mark Ferret. Am I saying his last name right? Yeah. And so I asked him, you know, like if like we were to do a shoe for the shop, like what would that be like? What could that be themed like? And he was actually like, well, it should be like a Crawfish shoe. Yeah. And so that's kind of how like the original idea was planted.
Got you. And from that idea to maybe the first sketch or iteration, did it take you like several different phases to kind of get the idea out in a way that you were happy with?
Nah, I don't remember exactly how long it was until like we had that conversation, until I did the sketch that Club is talking about. But I do remember that night. So we were actually Kale Siraj and I, which owner of Rukus at the time, Ronnie, and that's his son. So we played baseball together, and Club was actually at that game that night. Like Ronnie was there, like the whole crew was at the baseball game, and like we like maybe we won, maybe we didn't. Like I don't remember, but I remember having a blast and being juiced after.
Yeah, that was the funnest summer we had. That was one of the funnest summers ever.
Yeah, the crew was tight.
Summer. Yeah.
So I went home that night, and like I don't even think I showered or anything. I probably was like still wearing my nasty baseball uniform, like covered in dirt, but just like had that spark. And I like got the pencil, some paper, some like literal newspaper, and like made it happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
That original drawing was then sent off to Joey Giambava that I mentioned, our Nike sales rep at the time, who's also designed numerous.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Dunks.
Some of your
some big time like top shelf
Statue of Liberties, Firecrackers, like
Wow.
Concords, Space Jams.
What?
Wow.
legend.
Holy
But he's
cow.
also a sales rep?
Yes.
He's been a sales rep for a
Wow.
long time, and like that, he's just like from what it sounds like, he submits these ideas to the right people, and they kind of run with it and make it happen.
Okay.
And he stays way under the radar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He kind of he was always he's always real kind of, he's got a lot of really natural finesse to himself, like his personality, and you can just tell how he goes about his business. I mean, he was very good at finessing things and making things happen, and kind of like he always knew who to exactly to talk to.
Okay, got you. Very like relationships and connections.
Yes, and he did a really good job of pushing all the right buttons on Hunter too.
Okay.
Hunter helped a lot, like kind of like keep kind of edging you on and pushing you to where it was, or what it became, I should say, huh?
Well, he was definitely pivotal in making it happen. Like without him, it wouldn't have happened by any means. And he also, contributed to it in a way. Like that same night, whenever I sent him over the sketch, he actually sent it to his friend in Florida who knew how to use Photoshop, because neither of us knew how to at the time. And his friend actually made the first like digital mock-up and altered a few different things and sent it back. And then that pretty much became the shoe. That's when like the main ideas really like came together.
And was there anything from your original sketch that you can remember to the Photoshop of ideas you had that had to get changed or altered for whatever reason, for like materials or production?
So everything was like, all the materials and concepts and ideas were there, but he changed some things around. So like maybe the corn or the yellow was placed in a different spot at first, and then the newspaper, but all those ideas were there.
Okay, got you. And from when they did that first CAD, moving into the sampling process, did y'all go through multiple iterations of samples to get it right, or was it like right out the box?
So after like that night and the next 2 days, like when we had that, like, this is going to be it, we probably waited like 6 to 9 months for a sample.
Oh, wow.
It was a long time. And we definitely waited at least 6 months to even hear that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is a cool idea. It might happen. And then 6 months later, I got a picture of the Nike SB like line sheet, like that they were using in the corporate offices that said like Rukus Dunk and a potential release date.
That's crazy. So it went from this might happen to like, here it is, it's happening.
Yeah. Rukus Dunk.
Wow.
6 months.
Like,
yeah.
Were y'all getting like any updates in that time, or was it just kind of like y'all were just in limbo of, so we got this really cool Photoshop of a shoe that we would love to do, and then 6 months of kind of just, at least 6 to 9 months of just kind of a waiting game?
It was almost like, for us, it was kind of like, let's just, I don't know. For me, it was like, we'll just forget it. We don't know. Like, let's not get our hopes up. Let's just forget about it. Keep on work. Like, we would just go back to work and just work our butts off. And then that's what I felt like. Hunter, was it any different?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it was. We didn't have any idea it was going to happen. It was best that we just like put it on the back burner. And if it did, then it did. And if not, like, we'll try again.
Yeah. And so Hunter, you were probably pretty attached to and love, or, proud of at least, the design and the work that you came up with. Club and Jay and Club's assistant. Did y'all have any idea when y'all saw the first drawings or the first renderings, probably thought, okay, this is a cool shoe, but did you have any thought of this is really going to be a hit and this is going to take off? Or did you just think this will be cool for the shop?
It was perfect whenever I first seen it. It was to the point to where I didn't know we was doing it, and Club, Hunter, and Ronnie called me into the office at that time, and he was like, "Hey, Opens Box, I want to show you something." I'm like, and then I seen the Rukus Crawfish. I'm like, "Bro, what the hell?" And then definitely killed it with the storytelling, and they broke down everything to me. So at that point, I'm like, damn, we're working on something. Oh, we got something to work with.
For me, it was super surreal and it was fun because really, like, Ronnie's the owner, creator of the shop, and for me, like, just the opportunity to get to work for Ronnie and work at the shop. I mean, it was always just like a huge and incredible like honor and a privilege. So like all this shoe stuff, it was all so much like just awesome lanyard and extra.
Yeah.
You know, that working at the shop, I mean, anybody, y'all know, y'all been in there. I mean, it's just, it was always super fun. Even when we were there working, like the day that we dropped that Saturday when we did the big shoe drop.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a blast, and I was just the guy behind the counter. Like, me and Jay were.
Dude, it was crazy.
It was, and for me, I was like, I needed Ronnie and Hunter to go be the face and like and shake all the hands and kiss all the babies.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's, you know, like Hunter always likes to give me like credit, but I mean, it was just fun. It was because we're like family. So Hunter was like Hunter and Jaylin were like little brothers to me. I mean, I would bring them to college. They were both in high school, and I was bringing them to college parties, introducing them to college parties. So like,
yeah, you cut out a little bit again, but yeah, we were all like getting together all the time, every weekend, every night after working. Like, yeah, it was so close knit family shit for sure.
So that back to the shoe, like the fact that we got to do that, it was just like we were kind of like all on cloud nine. You know, whether we were like me and Jay were like, you know, kind of the workhorses. I mean, it was just to be on that like that train.
Definitely.
Even if we were just the caboose, it was so cool. It was the coolest thing. I mean, the shoe, I mean, the shoes, it's iconic, kind of. I mean, to me, it's iconic.
Oh yeah.
But like, I mean, the box, and then with the newspaper, we got a bunch of newspapers, and then we did the idea with the little crawfish bag
with the bags on the inside. Yeah.
Oh, it was just so. I still to this day I've never worn mine.
What?
Wow.
I don't want it. They're like to me they're like a trophy.
Fair enough.
Because like Ronnie and Hunter they gave them to me. So it was like, it's just something that it
represents a lot.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it was like a gift from my little brother and my mentor. I mean, Ronnie's a mentor to all of us. But anyway, it was incredible. That's all I could really say. It was an incredible fun ride, and you know, Hunter was so cool, like being so young. Kind of like he took on a lot. Like for I mean, you were fresh out of high school, kind of. You were still in high school when you did that, didn't you?
Yeah. So I would have been 17 at the time of the drawing.
Wow, what a resume!
Crazy.
If I can, real quick. There he is, young stunner.
Look at that.
So yeah, that's like a year and a half later. I think I was 19 by then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the special box, that's a great segue, actually. So from the time you find out the shoe's coming out, it's on the line sheet to release. Do y'all know how many pairs you're getting, if it's going to be shop only? And how does the special box kind of come into the conversation? Do y'all remember?
That would have been the next thing that we started working on, because once the shoe is submitted and the sample is being made, there's not much you can change after that, as you guys probably understand or know. So yeah, the next thing we would have started working on was the special box, and Joey put us in contact with a paper and like cardboard manufacturer in Florida who had actually done some previous boxes for Concepts, I believe.
Okay.
Wow.
And as we all know, they put together amazing stories and have done really cool boxes in the past. So after hearing that, I pretty much knew they were the guys that were going to do it. So then from there, we started working on logos and things like that, but I don't remember exactly finding out how many pairs would be produced or anything like that. But
I don't remember when we found out. I just know we found out it was 500.
Yeah, at some point it was like y'all are gonna get 500 like on this week, and then it's gonna be like 9,500 or 10,000 the next week on Nike.com.
Yeah. At the time, does 500 sound like that's not enough, or does 500 sound like, you know, we might be sitting on them a little bit?
No, we were kind of. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter, but I think we were feeling kind of greedy. We wanted more.
I thought it was too many.
Yeah,
I think you, Ronnie. I want to say you and Ronnie thought the same thing, and me and Jaylin were like, we were chomping at the bit. Dude, we were like, bring them on. Me and Jaylin were like, bring it on. We'll sell them all. Let's go.
Dude, we could have sold 500 yesterday.
Dude, we could.
Yeah, easy.
An hour.
Dude,
yeah, that's wild. So, I mean, I don't know if that was a number that we came up with or Nike, but I mean, I imagine that was our number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think also the other thing I like looking back on the special boxes, thinking of, I don't know if it was the night before or the week before, but I'm sure all of you remember sitting there taking apart all the boxes that they came in.
That was,
and let's do some cameos real quick. Hang on. Look at these guys.
Look at them.
Look at these young guys right here.
The work.
Dude, the crew. Look at
that's actually a local newspaper. Was it big?
Yeah.
We got that.
The Advocate. It's so funny. Anyone you talk to who has a special box pair, to ask them, what is your newspaper like referencing on the inside of it? What does it have? When we interviewed Blaine a couple years back, I think the newspaper on the inside of his is talking about Lil Jon's about to perform at oh God, I'm blank. What's the venue right next to Chimes? On LSU's campus.
Varsity.
The Varsity. It's like Lil Jon's about to perform at the Varsity on his newspaper. It's just funny. It's like great. It's very time capsule-esque. And I imagine that's kind of like, you know, probably at the time it was like, we just need newspaper. That's a great way to get it. But like 10 years later, it's kind of cool to look back at it, and it like contextualizes almost like what was going on at the time that those came out.
Yeah, I think mine has Leonard Fournette inside of it. He did something in high school with it. So that was pretty cool.
That's crazy to think.
Mine's got an ad for the strip club, the Penthouse.
That it's almost like they should that should be when people are listing what is like that dictates how hype the custom shoebox is depending on.
It's funny because on the box itself, right, there's a newspaper print on it, and on here there's an ad for Red Stick Roofing and their phone number. 10 years of free advertising for them. Good on Red Stick Roofing. They really came up on that deal. But do you all remember this assembly line in the shop of, my gosh, I can't imagine 500 pairs now, knowing the number, how long that must have taken.
Dude, whenever we open, put boxes together. Customers leave, put boxes together. Before we close, put boxes together.
Yeah, it's like a constant of like putting boxes together and and then and I think y'all were doing a lot of stuff, and then I was trying to help out, like I was trying to keep things moving with customers coming in and out. And I was mostly just trying to keep the shop kind of running while they were, doing this. And then whenever I got a break, like if customers weren't in the shop, then I was stopping and I would go help them. So that's why you see me behind the register.
All hands on deck trying to get them all assembled here.
But man, I got an image in my head of just remember they were all stacked up in a big wall.
Yeah,
just a wall of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come in, so I'm assuming Nike knows that you're doing a special box, or is that like part of this whole thing separate? Is it kind of like I know you had mentioned, Hunter, like you would go through like a different manufacturer. So does Nike play a role in the special box, or is it kind of just like, hey, if y'all want to, y'all do whatever y'all want when it comes to packaging, we're going to send you the shoes in at the time, the typical SB box.
Yeah, it was definitely the vice versa. Like, we're just going to send them in our regular boxes. And if you guys want to do something special after that, then feel free.
Oh my God. Because I was in my head, I'm like, because like you said, if you're getting 500 pairs of shoes and you're having to literally open a box, take them out of the box to put them in another box, I would go insane to just because like I'm like, why couldn't Nike? I mean, I guess there's no other way to ship the shoes, but that makes sense that Nike is just like, we're going to send you our product. However you want to do the packaging is kind of up to you.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened. Yeah.
We broke it down. We probably ran that assembly line every night between like 7 and 8 p.m. for a week or two.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of impressive to think
a good pace.
That there's less than 10 hours of manual labor production to do 500 shoes. That's pretty impressive because it's not just taking them like out of a box in one box. It's literally out of the box, crawfish bag, get a page of a newspaper. Like there's a lot of detail that goes into this whole thing. So, I mean, obviously the shoe is very special to, I think, the whole like sneaker community, especially in Louisiana. But the fact that there was quite literal a labor of love into the actual production, I think just goes to why this shoe is so special. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, the way we like our philosophy was on it, like, I mean, we were always constantly like, let's take care of every single one of these pairs like it was our own, you know? And I mean, dude, we broke down every single one of those Nike boxes. Like, we didn't just like trash them down. We like legit unwrapped the boxes. Like those Tiffany boxes, those Tiffany and black boxes, we unraveled them because we knew there was going to be certain people who still wanted the Tiffany box as well as the crawfish box.
Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do you remember doing that? Where we would stack up all those in Jaylin? Remember Ronnie made us do it. Ronnie made us stack all the other boxes in the back.
Yeah, we kept a bunch of them for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
kind of like a little bit of a backtrack. What is, I mean, like, it's such a, I guess, like a culturally tied shoe, like crawfish, is a very small set. Was there any difficulty kind of like making that selling point? Or was it kind of just like whenever you were talking with your rep, they were like, no, that clicks. Like, you don't have to sell it to me.
Yeah, no, I definitely like wasn't a selling thing. It was more of just like, this is a cool concept. I think it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. Well, that's even better.
Well, and especially with your rep being Southern based, working with Florida shops, like I'm sure pretty quick to understand that like crawfish, very regional and, culturally significant to Louisiana. It probably doesn't take a lot of explaining. Like, yeah, I can see how that's going to work,
Yeah, he understood that for sure. And I guess from my point of view at the time, I had seen other shops in the North do things that only pertain to them.
Yeah.
So I knew it could work,
Yeah.
They gave us our moment.
On that note, I think this was one of the first SB collabs to happen with a shop in the South. I don't think there were many, if any, before this one.
Wow.
Louisiana, definitely not. I'm pretty confident in that,
Yeah, I could be wrong. I feel like there was some stuff that was, I don't know. There was all kinds of Texas themed stuff too.
Texas and Florida would be the other two, I think.
I feel like it would be Florida. It would have been like maybe an MIA dunk, if anything.
Or Premier.
Yeah. Or Premier.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Ryan, I think you're right. Because everything was either coming out of, I feel like everything was coming out of either California or New York.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Definitely leading up to that point for sure.
One thing Ronnie would say at the time, he would because I was young, as I mentioned earlier, and didn't really understand what it would do for the shop, but he kept saying like, this is going to put us on the map. And it kind of did.
Yeah, I would say in a big way for sure it did.
Yeah,
Man.
We definitely, after that, I mean, sales, we weren't really doing online stuff yet. We weren't selling anything online. We didn't even, like our online shop, like nobody really kept up with it. So we were doing a lot of just phone sales. And we were definitely, I would say after we released that, for like you just, not just the crawfish, but like all other releases after that. I mean, we were getting calls. We were getting calls from California, New York, all over the country for people just wanting to buy shoes that we posted on like Instagram.
Right. Yeah. Well, and 2014 was still so early in like sneakers being on the internet to begin with. So yeah, once you find out there's another shop that's getting SBs, whether it's, whatever I'm looking for, that's another alley I'm going to pursue to try to get it. Yeah, that makes sense. So going then from the assembly line of the special box to release day, do y'all remember the morning of release day? When did people start lining up? Was it the day of or the day before?
Oh no, it was that Friday night, wasn't it?
It was definitely the night before.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remember there was like a couple people started lining up, and they like before we closed that Friday night. We closed it was Friday night, so we probably didn't leave the shop until like 8:00, 8:30. So but they were already there because Ronnie of course would go out there, and I mean he could talk anybody's ears off.
Yeah,
and he was out there chatting with them, and they were still there the next morning.
Wow,
they were still there the next morning, and then of course the line like just exploded within a matter of, I mean, it felt like seconds, if not minutes, and we were there, probably like a good hour and a half before we opened.
Yeah, we definitely parked in the parking lot for sure.
Yeah.
You had to like park at like Blue Store or something like across the street and walk. Well, it wouldn't have been Blue Store, but yeah.
Yeah. We had to park at the church.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we did. That's right. Yeah, we parked.
I didn't necessarily know exactly what to expect, but seeing the parking lot full, I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
We were all.
Had y'all ever had a line like that at the shop before?
No.
Not like that.
Oh, okay.
No, because I mean, like
people would line up for sneakers, but maybe like 5-6 people max.
And maybe like morning of.
Yeah, an hour or two before the release. But this was probably like 200 people wrapped around the building. Like it blew all of our minds. None of us was expecting that. I don't think at all.
And what's even crazy, I don't think we hired any police
that's just how it was back then.
No security.
I was about to say, that's how you know this story took place 10 years ago, is when you said we had 200 people lined up for a sneaker. We didn't hire police. Yeah.
And everybody was very cordial, single file.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh man, we were, I remember just being so anxious. I was like, I didn't want to know, because, there was somebody that was going to be, he skipped me or she skipped me or,
right.
And I was just like, I don't want to hear it. I just want to hurry up and get in the shop and start getting set up. And, but Hunter, honestly, before this, like our releases were we were so kind of low key about big time SB releases. But then after that, it felt like it kind of put us I would say it definitely helped put us on the map too with Baton Rouge. Because there was still a lot of people who had no idea. They were like, y'all sell shoes? Like, y'all sell sneakers? Like, yes, we sell sneakers.
I imagine it's probably hard for a lot of people listening today who know Rukus for what it is today to imagine a Rukus where they're not selling sneakers. Because now, I don't know to poke fun or not, but like now sometimes I imagine there's people who's like, Rukus sells skateboards? Yeah. Like I think like so much of the Rukus crowd now is just there for like the clothes and the footwear. So it's crazy to see that growth over time.
Yeah, I wanted to work there because we a long time ago used to deal wakeboards.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was in wakeboarding, and then when you're there, I mean, you just can't not get entrenched in the fashion.
Yeah.
And so that's Ronnie completely kind of put me on fashion. You know, he doesn't want any of his employees dressed like bozos. That's for sure. So you had to come correct every day. I mean, it was come correct or go home kind of. I mean, Ronnie never said that, but we definitely
that's what I felt.
Kind of. It was an unwritten rule, like don't show up looking like a goofball. Definitely show up like looking like you're ready to sell the stuff that you wear the stuff that you're selling. You know, be a product. Be a product of your environment, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but. Yeah, I mean, we were always kind of forever known as, y'all are just a skateboard shop, right? It's like, we sell tons of shoes, believe it or not. So, but yeah. And then Jaylin, you joined the shop because of sneakers.
Definitely.
That was you were in sneakers. You and all.
Also, too, I wanted to be around like the atmosphere of the store, but sneakers brought me to the shop, and
Hunter, Hunter, you joined the shop because you were into skateboarding at the time.
Yeah, my first time in Rukus would have been around 9 years old. I would have gotten a gift certificate for Christmas, like go get a complete. And so I would do that about once a year, and it was the highlight of my year, just going into that store and being around skateboarders and people that were like-minded.
Yeah. That's crazy to think that progression from like 9 years old to, like you're saying, like older teenager, and now not only working there, but, having a big hand in this shoe that's designed in collaboration with Nike SB from the shop is kind of like a very surreal moment, I imagine.
Yeah, very surreal, wild. Rukus has played a big part in my life for a long time. And, big shout out to Ronnie and Chet, the OGs that started it all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Going back to that release day, I do have one more here if anyone wants to see it. From the day itself, people lined up at the shop.
Oh, yeah.
People in line. This shot offends me of no socks, barefooting, just the shoes. But, good for them.
Dude, how'd you find all this footage?
We have our ways, Jaylin. We have our ways. You can see, though, that's probably what y'all are talking about, those teal boxes stacked up right next to them. Yeah. It looks like in every nook and cranny wherever you can make room for them to have some more. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There he is.
Yeah.
Young Stunna right there. Yeah, you can see. I didn't notice it when I saw it at first, but now I can't not see the teal boxes stacked up. Autograph in the boxes, too.
I did sign a couple boxes, a couple babies that day.
Not just the boxes, the babies too. Yeah. It's so fun to go back and watch this and see all the boxes stacked in the hallway. There's a good other cameo coming up later in this video. That mannequin's still at the shop today. But you can see line out the door all day.
Oh yeah.
Hey, yeah.
If anyone knows these guys. Yeah,
that's funny.
That's Devin right there. Yeah, so Tanner knows Devin right there.
Oh yeah,
cast on, which is funny because when we interviewed Devin a couple of years ago as well, and he talked to us about the day that the Crawfish Dunk released, and I think he said he pulled up to the shop not really knowing that it was going to be different from any other day, and so it was like, hey man, like almost the hand on the chest of like, hey man, I can't just like let you in the shop right now. But it's funny to see everyone time capsule 10 years ago here.
Golly. Look at you signing the box. Yes.
Local celeb.
Oh my God. Man.
There he is.
Jaylin, still got his braces on.
I think I had Pearly Whites back this way. I had the braces. Hold on, Mama.
Crazy. When the shop was set up the other way with that counter on the far back wall. Mm-hmm.
Someone dripping out their granny in the Crawfish Dunk.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man, I wish I could hear what Ronnie is saying. Golly.
I have to go back and pull the audio, but yeah, just fun to go down memory lane there for a minute.
It is something else.
Yeah, that's actually, I was just about to say, though. So now, 10 years later, what has, like, I feel like it's probably hard to be like, can you recap the last decade? But just like since the release day and now kind of seeing where the Crawfish Dunk is at now, do y'all have any special memories from the past 10 years of the release day of any standout moments with the shoe, of like a friend getting a pair or seeing a pair out in the wild or anything like that?
Well, we had a release party that night that was off the chain. I'll remember that for sure. After that, I'd say the next big moment that I remember was seeing Lil Wayne wearing a pair.
Okay.
Wow.
That's sick.
That was big.
Especially, the Louisiana connection there.
Exactly. And he had started skating at the time.
Right.
And it was pretty special.
Here's even a better question. How often, if ever, do you have people coming in and asking, do y'all have any more of those crawfish dunks?
Every day.
That's
For the past 10
crazy.
years, every day.
Yeah.
Looking back at it
That's
now,
so
we probably
funny.
could have sold like a ton.
What's the highest offer you've gotten for the pair in the case?
I'm thinking like 2,000 maybe. But
And Jay, I said I'd be willing to do 2,500 if Hunter autographed them. So,
Hey,
be clear on that.
happen.
Hey, we got to split that.
Could you imagine, Hunter? Like,
I had 2 pairs and I sold one of them.
Hey,
How recently and were they new? How recently and were they new or worn?
It was a new with special box, probably a year or 2 ago for $1,200.
Okay.
On
Cashed
sale.
out.
there you go.
Okay.
Perfect time for it.
Yeah.
Then I bought like 6 pairs.
you
You had
have?
6 pairs?
I had 6 pairs.
How many you got now?
I think I have one worn pair that I wore the full day and then wore at the after party at the office. I have a dead stock pair, and I might have a dead stock pair without the special box.
Wow.
But
Jay had 6 pairs, but then 2 or 3 years ago, he was telling me about that new nice house he got. And I was like, Jay, how'd you pull that? Now I understand.
A down payment don't come cheap.
Yeah.
no, this is the clip right here, just so y'all know.
Just threw himself back in the crib.
Hunter, you weren't here yet. I thought that was really his I thought that was his house.
That's how he came.
Yeah, that's my guest house.
Yeah.
No,
And that's not even the maid. Yeah. That's the guest house.
I'd say whenever what's the name of the sneaker shop up in New York?
Flight Club?
Flight Club?
Huh?
Flight Club?
Yes, Flight Club. We were like constantly. I just remember every day we kept looking up Flight Club to see what they were pricing them at, and then just like I would see him like randomly in like I'd see him randomly in a magazine, but the coolest thing. So I don't know if any of y'all have heard of or listened to Walton and Johnson in the morning.
My dad.
I've been listening to him since I was a little kid.
Same.
Yeah.
It's the only radio station.
Yeah, I was listening to him when I was a little kid, and I still listen to him even now. But they talked about him about a week or 2 after we released him.
Wow.
Because they're based out of Texas, but they're all into Louisiana culture and everything, and they talked about him, and I was like, oh crap! Like, it's a conservative talk radio. Like, it's not like a bunch of skateboarders listening to that show or
Got reach.
It's a bunch of like truck drivers and baseball dads, Hunter dad. So. But it was that was really cool. And then like seeing him, he was like a magazine or a book. I think I saw him. I saw a sneaker book in Barnes and Nobles a few years ago. And then there's a picture of the Crawfish Dunk.
It's big. It's big. I still think like my favorite like sneaker flex is buying a pair. Ryan had bought a pair. What was it? 6-7 years ago?
I'll let you tell the story. I bought the pair you're talking about, I think 2017, 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even, it was in the hunt for it. What, $30?
I bought a used pair on eBay, no box, $30, 2017, 2018.
That's like every time I wear it and people are going, I'm like, yeah. I was like, I bought it off my buddy who got it like used on eBay for like $30. And they're like, absolutely not. You did not. And I'm like, oh yeah. I tell them, I'm like, to be fair, this was like 7-8 years ago. And they're like, I mean, I guess. So yeah, that was absolutely crazy. But that's like my favorite. Anytime I'm wearing it, I was like, you'll never guess how much I paid for these shoes.
Yeah. When I gave Tanner those, because then in 2019, I got my pair special box used for $250, which at the time I was even like, that's a lot, but I love this shoe. And now it's like, once 2020 happened and Dunks took off, it's like, yeah, you can't get them now. It's crazy to think.
Yeah, I wouldn't give mine up.
No.
I mean,
no.
$30 on eBay is epic.
I know.
It's crazy.
I was so hyped for them. Yeah.
They're pretty dusted. Like they like whoever like they definitely want, but that's almost like I love even more is that like I'm not like jumping around in mud with them, but I'm not super cautious with it because by the time I was like, well, I got them. They're already worn, but I only break them out on those absolute special occasions. But like I said, whenever I have them, that's like just I love doing. I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, wow, those are some interesting shoes. I'm like, you will guess how much I paid for these. And then I just try to do a quick Google search of like how much they are. It's like my favorite thing.
That's really cool.
Did you ever think that people would trip out on your shoe like this, bro?
Nah, it was funny like seeing the whole range of people because we had some people like tripping out on it, but then there were also people that just like skated it like a skate shoe or like had a roommate that like didn't even know about sneaker culture at the time and he bought the shoe the day of the release because he was my roommate and then he wore them every day for the next year and a half until they fell apart.
That's sick though.
So it was like I saw both sides of it and it was like easy to stay in the middle.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see Clubs grab something while he does that.
I see Mr. Deeds. Random question. Favorite Adam Sandler movie?
No. So the Stance socks that came with it, E-tail suckheads, was there any pushback from Stance on getting those made or were they down with that like from the jump?
They were down with it from the jump. So the picture on the sock is the same picture that's on the box.
Oh, okay.
So not Nike, the box guy was like, hey, like, what do you want to do for this? And so I like gave him the idea. And so I pulled like a random photo of crawfish on newspaper off Google and sent it to him. And he's like, bro, like, we can't use this. Like, this is like clearly copyrighted. And I was like, oh shit. Well, like, what should I do? So I went to the local seafood shop, like, Louisiana Seafood, like the ones that made the logo on the top of the box, and like bought 5 pounds of crawfish, got some newspaper, threw them out on the table like before I had class at LSU that morning. Like sent him a picture of the box like a couple hours before the deadline, and then it was like, okay, cool. I have this high resolution photo now. Like, what else can we do with it? And I think Ronnie was like, yo, we should like, let's hit up Stance and see if we can do some socks.
Yeah.
And then that was his idea for the bottom too. I was like, dude, that's like, I don't know. I'm not really with it, but
getting a little edgy.
I'm glad he pushed for it because that's super cool.
Yeah, they're hilarious. I love the Google stock image and just be like, I don't know. I can't even be like, I don't. What else do you want me to do? It's like,
like,
how else am I going to get crawfish and newspaper? I'm in Louisiana. How would that even happen?
Yeah, like I got class in 6 hours, dude.
More important question: did you get reimbursed for the 5 pounds of crawfish?
No, that came out of my own pocket. I lost money on this whole deal.
Yeah. Yo, 5 pounds of crawfish with inflation, that's pricey, man. Like,
these days, for sure.
Jeez, man, got stingy on the.
Lost money on this whole deal is the best way to like in that like the book in there of like, and all of this was for what? Nothing. I'm still trying to recover from the crawfish dunk.
The only reason Hunter agreed to get on here was to grandstand to get that reimbursement check.
We'll have the GoFundMe linked in the episode description down below.
Yeah, Jay, you got that check coming or what?
There you go. Come on.
I can ship you 5 pounds back.
Even better.
We can up it.
Get loyal too.
And make
That's
it
hard to get out here in Texas, so but
Bam.
This past season, it was pretty expensive too.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you're making money.
The whole thing's a long con. It's a long flip here. Sick. Well, I think that was pretty much everything I had prepared to run through. Does y'all have anything else? Any other stories or talking points y'all want to hit on from this whole thing?
Ronnie's friends with like everybody, and he's friends with like the family that owns seafood and Louisiana Fish Fry. Same family.
Yeah.
And so he called him up, and they were like, "Hey, we want to do this, blah blah blah." And they were like, "All right, cool." Ronnie shows up like he always does, just you know.
Wait, no. Him and I had a meeting like at their headquarters with their suits. Like 2 different lawyers, like the whole board. The whole board of directors. It's like me and Ronnie like
you and Ronnie were both there.
Yeah.
That's
everybody's dressed in suits, and then you got these 2 goofballs. They look like they left the skate park.
just rolling up. That's even, I mean, like, how was that just kind of like, Hunter, was that just kind of like throwing at you like, oh, hey, by the way, we got to go have this like board meeting, or like, was there some prep time?
There was a little bit of prep time, but I didn't want anything to do with it.
I'm just trying to make a shoe. I just think it would be cool. This would be fun. And then now you got to go meet with lawyers.
Yeah, I'm like, here's the logo, Ronnie. Like, we're about to knock this shit off, and he's like, nah, we're about to have a fucking meeting. The Light Club said he knew the owner or somebody that knew the owner, and they set up a meeting within like a couple weeks. Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 dudes in suits on one side of the meeting, like me and Ronnie. Like, yo, can we like get some crawfish before we start, or we're just gonna get right into it?
Are y'all just all talking no game? Let's do what we're here to do. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, to be fair, what a power move though to show up no lawyers. To just be like, I'm the owner of Rukus. Oh, by the way, here's an 18-year-old.
Real time look. Real time look in the boardroom right there.
There it is. Like,
I hate these pictures so much, dude. I look so bummed. I probably like got a bad grade that day or something.
I was gonna ask, this is like for what, like the Advocate or something out here?
Yeah, the biggest newspaper, and I just put on my sad face. Wearing a Huff shirt too, so funny. So there was one other like news thing that we did. It was called News with a Twist. I forgot all about it until this day. I was hoping y'all had some clips for that or had seen it, but
we did that DGK.
Maybe not.
Well, the magazine too.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, did y'all?
Was it the Farm League?
I did this one interview outside of the Nike factory store in Tanger in Gonzales. A guy from New Orleans met me out there with like a camera crew. And it was like a New Orleans news show called News with a Twist. I've never seen the segment.
Okay, is that the picture on your Instagram of you holding the shoe with the guy with the tripod next to you?
That's what that is.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
I did as much research as I could. Again, 2014 kind of predates sneaker internet, so I found as much as I could. But yeah, I didn't see that clip if that's out there.
Y'all came correct. Y'all had a couple pictures and videos that I was like, what? Where? How'd you get that? But
It came from a digital camera.
Yeah,
you can see the resolution.
There's more out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you guys, and this has been so awesome. Not just like, you know, for all this, but it's so good to look at, kind of get to chat with Jay and Hunter. Like the relationship that the 3 of us kind of built was
Dream team.
We had a lot of fun, just getting the chance to be around each other every day and working and then, like I said earlier, man, this whole shoe thing, it's still like listening to you two, Ryan and Tanner, listening to y'all talk about this and the way y'all are like hyping this up. I mean, still to me, I'm like, oh, I mean, just a Nike shoe that Hunter, 18 years old at the time, 17 years old at the time. Yeah, he designed it. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. We did this at the shop. Yeah, tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
man. Made huge waves. Not just in the Louisiana sneaker scene, but everywhere for sure.
Oh, it's so cool. Look, Hunter, I got one of the boxes that you never circled.
Oh,
default. Well, that's price went up.
Yeah, what size is it? I'm gonna keep an eye on the StockX listings just in case tonight I see one more pop up on there.
I'm almost 1,000% sure it is an 8.5. No, it's a 9.
It'll look good on the shelf.
Premium.
I don't need to wear it.
9. Free my 8.5 years.
You have the newspaper in there still?
Oh yeah.
Okay, per tradition, you've got to tell us what's your newspaper referencing.
Dude, the shoes stay in the original Nike box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm a little like I kind of grabbed my pair before they got put on the line.
Yeah,
because I wanted to
smart man.
But here, I'll kind of show you.
Gonna be hard to beat the strip club, but
yeah, the bar is set high.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
Oh, clean.
Yeah, and then the box is still in the box, still wrapped with the original retail price on them and everything.
Damn, you never even take them out?
Yeah, well.
Hunter's like, bro, I worked on this shoe. Could you at least look at it?
10 years in a box. First taste of air.
So, of course, y'all know how I love showing stuff off. So, anytime I have like friends over or whatever, the first thing they want to do is see, my little sneaker collection. But compared to like Mark and Jaylin and probably even Hunter and the guys at the shop, I mean, my sneaker collection is like tiny. But the first thing I show them is the crawfish dunk, and then the second thing I show them is the remember the wingtips, and out. Those are like my favorite. That's the two pairs that I really show anybody. But anyway, yeah. So I show them off, Hunter. Promise you.
He opens the box; they're just crumbling inside there.
I think about them. Dude, they're my reminder of that summer and reminder of you and Jay always. Can never forget about you with that beautiful long hair.
Me and Hunter.
Can I tell y'all? I wish I could pull the pictures up for you guys. But one of the greatest like feelings is like a big brother was I brought them to their first college party, both of them, and it was I don't know if y'all remember, but it was like the wakeboard club of LSU had a big like house party. Brought y'all. And so like I picked them up from both their homes and everything and then brought them home.
Man.
And both on the way home were both passed out like little babies.
First nightlife.
It was the funniest thing that like of course really funny for me, awesome for me, just to look back and be like, oh, I love you guys. No, like, oh, it's a cool day. I get to work with my buds, my bros. So anyway.
What a special day. What a special release. Special everything.
Yeah.
Special company.
Definitely.
I want to shout out Mark Verrett. He's probably going to be laughing his butt off at me. Hey, Mark Fresh. And of course, I want to shout out my wife.
There you go. Get those brownie points.
There you go.
That's my shout outs. That's all.
Bam. Next episode in another 5 years will be us reviewing probably like the 20 videos of Mark breaking in the shop after it's closed on YouTube.
With supers and
those sky tops, you know it.
Clap.
All right. I think Hunter had to dip, so we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up here. But man, thank you both so much. Thank you, Hunter, as well, if you're catching this after the fact, for taking the time to chop it up with us. This has been pretty crazy, pretty surreal. 10 years later. The crawfish dunk. If you're watching this episode on the day that it comes out and you have a pair, put those on today. Put those on. Take a little picture of your feet on the internet.
There you go. Flood the IG page.
Flood the feed. We're gonna get it trending for sure. All right. Thanks again, guys. Y'all take care.
Thank you guys for having us.
Bye. I like your pose there. Welcome back, everybody. So hope y'all enjoyed that episode as much as we did. Now that they're at the end, we can talk about it. The boardroom,
there we go.
The lawyers.
Oh, come on.
So
hilarious. The fact, because like I'm just sitting there picturing Hunter.
Yeah.
Dressed
19.
I mean, I guess
18 or 19.
20,
Yeah.
In between there, in like, I'm sure like probably similar dress, like the Thrasher t-shirt, skate, him and Ronnie in a boardroom of lawyers. And I'm sure that is hilarious. And the fact that it was like somewhat short notice. Like,
yeah, that's my favorite thing is you asking, or one of us asked, do you have a lot of time to prepare for it? And he goes, nah, I didn't want to be there at all.
Yeah.
Like, and you say, I love you say in response, you're like, I'm just trying to design a shoe, man. I just think it'd be cool to do a crawfish. Like, I'm not trying to get tied up with lawyers and the board of directors or anything.
So funny. And then it's just so interesting to come back and just to hear like how, like almost like storybook, like perfectly everything kind of fell into place. Like, Ronnie having those connections, to be able to get like the box, like the iconicness of like the Rukus logo on the cover of the box, to be able to get that going is just like so cool.
Their Nike rep also happening to have like some skill in design and doing colorways. We're like, I'm sure that's not par for the course with every Nike SB rep. So yeah, there's a lot of stars aligning on this one that makes it just like very serendipitous that it all came together.
Yeah, really cool. And then like the biggest thing that I wanted to ask was just like the cultural, like how, like, I guess it feels like South Louisiana or like crawfish and like that kind of like cultural seems so small because of where I am. And it was just funny to hear Hunter be like, nah, not really. They kind of were like, all right,
they got it. Yeah, they got it. They get it.
Didn't really have to sell them. Like, they do stuff out of New York that like is literally only like borough specific. So I'm like, oh yeah, I guess
they can get it. Sense. They can see the vision. Yeah. So very cool. Once again, thank you to the guys, Jaylin, Hunter, and Club for coming on the show to talk about the crawfish dunk with us. If y'all out there are listening to this episode on the day that it drops and you have a pair of crawfish dunks, put those things on today. Put those things on today. I was going to say post a picture of your shoes and tag us on Instagram, but the way you're doing the face kind of has like a show me your feet vibe, like, and we're talking the same talk, but yours is so much more aggressive.
Put them on your toes.
Thank you everyone for checking out another episode of Shoe Podcast. You can catch us online across all social media at Shoe Podcast. You can find our website, shoepodcast.com. If you're listening to the show on your favorite podcast platform or watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, leave that rating and review. Helps us out a ton in the feedback there. And if you want to continue the conversation with us, you can do so in our Discord linked in the episode description down below. Anything you want to leave the people with before we go here?
I do. And I thought this phrase kept coming to me while we were doing the episode with everybody. And it was kind of the phrase that kept coming to me was look to the past to brighten your future.
Ooh.
I think it's all, sometimes, we get wrapped up in nostalgia and we look back and we kind of always want to reverse back to it, hit the rewind button. But I think it's always great to look to the past to find inspiration for your future. So it's always great to revisit these things, similar to this whole episode, having the 10-year for an unbelievably iconic shoe, to look back at that and then maybe try to use that as an inspiration for the future and whatever embark you have. And obviously, going past, in personal lives, major events in history. That phrase kept coming to me. Look to your past to brighten your future. It's
beautiful. I don't even want to do a bit. I just want to end it on a poetic note there. I was going to do a bit. I don't even want to do a bit anymore, Your Honor.
There you go.
That's where we're going to leave it. Well, thank you everyone for checking out another very special, in this case, monumental episode of Shoe Podcast. This was a real fun one. I am your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
We'll catch you next week or something with something or nothing. I don't know.
You'll be there.